There's a $2 tablet sitting in military surplus stores right now that makes any water on Earth safe to drink in 30 minutes. Swamp water, flood runoff, highway puddles, drop it in, wait, drink. The US military has issued this exact tablet to every deployed soldier since 1945. The WHO certifies it for disaster zones on every continent. UNICEF ships millions into cholera outbreaks every single year because nothing works faster or cheaper in a real emergency. Then a $45 billion industry decided you should never learn its name. They didn't stop using it because it failed. They buried it because it worked too well. A $2 tablet that fits in your shirt pocket cannot be sold back to you as a $400 filtration system with replacement cartridges every 6 months. No power, no assembly, no expertise, no profit. So it had to disappear. Then 17 states helped finish the job. Quietly, one state at a time, buried inside public health packages so no journalist would ever isolate the provision and ask the obvious question: why is a compound the US military trusts with soldiers' lives illegal to sell freely to the civilians those soldiers protect? Nobody asked. The industry made sure of that. This is the story of the cheapest, most proven, most suppressed water safety solution in human history. Welcome to Forbidden Camping. Subscribe and ring the bell. The next vault opens sooner than you think. The tablet is iodine, specifically tetraglycine hydroperiodide, the stabilized military-grade iodine purification tablet first synthesized for field deployment by the United States Army Chemical Corps in 1943 during active World War II operations in the Pacific Theater. American soldiers were dying in the Pacific not from Japanese bullets, but from waterborne diseases including typhoid, cholera, and dysentery contracted from contaminated field water sources. The supply lines delivering clean water were unreliable, slow, and constantly under attack. Soldiers needed a water solution they could carry in their pocket, deploy in 30 seconds, and trust completely in the field. The Army Chemical Corps developed the iodine tablet specifically to solve that problem. It worked perfectly from the first field trials. Here's the chemistry, and it is simpler than the industry wants you to know. Iodine in contact with water releases free iodine molecules that are violently toxic to single-celled organisms at concentrations that are completely safe for human consumption. Bacteria, viruses, protozoa, giardia, Cryptosporidium in most concentrations, cholera, typhoid, dysentery organisms, E. coli, all of them destroyed at the cellular level within 15 to 30 minutes of contact with a properly dosed iodine solution. The iodine penetrates the cell wall of the pathogen, oxidizes critical cellular proteins, and destroys the organism's ability to reproduce and survive. The concentration required to achieve complete pathogen kill is well below the threshold that causes any harm to human tissue. The human body processes residual iodine through normal thyroid metabolism. One tablet, 30 minutes. Safe water from any source available. The United States Army has issued these tablets continuously since 1945 through Korea, Vietnam, Desert Storm, Iraq, Afghanistan, and every special operations deployment in between. Every single soldier in every single one of those conflicts trusted their life to this $2 tablet when the alternative was dying of cholera in a forward operating base. That is not a claim. That is 80 years of unbroken military operational record. The Red Cross distributed iodine purification tablets as primary water treatment in the aftermath of the 2004 Indian Ocean tsunami that killed 230,000 people across 14 countries. UNICEF deployed them immediately following the 2010 Haiti earthquake when municipal water systems collapsed completely and cholera spread through the population within days. The World Health Organization's emergency response protocol for any natural disaster affecting water infrastructure lists iodine tablets as first response primary treatment before any filtration system is deployed because filtration systems require logistics, assembly, power, and supply chains that do not exist in the first 72 hours after a catastrophic event. A tablet requires nothing but the water you are already standing in front of. The science is not contested, the military record is not contested, the WHO endorsement is not contested. The $45 billion water filtration industry is simply counting on you never connecting those three facts to the $2 tablet sitting on the shelf of a military surplus store 2 miles from your house. The United States Army did not discover iodine's ability to make contaminated water safe to drink. They stabilized it into a convenient tablet format. The knowledge itself is ancient beyond the reach of written records in any civilization that had consistent access to iodine-containing materials. Travel back to ancient India roughly 2,500 years ago. The Ayurvedic medical texts of the Sushruta Samhita, among the oldest surviving medical documents in human history, specifically describe the purification of contaminated water using mineral compounds, including iodine-bearing salts derived from coastal seaweed ash. Indian physicians documented the process of water purification through mineral treatment in texts that predate the Roman Empire by centuries. They did not know they were describing iodine chemistry because iodine as a named element would not be isolated for another 2 millennia. But they knew the effect. They knew contaminated water treated with these mineral salts stopped causing the diseases that untreated contaminated water reliably caused. They documented it, they taught it, and they used it to keep populations alive in a tropical climate where waterborne disease killed casually and constantly. In ancient Egypt, papyrus medical texts dating to 1500 BC described the use of copper vessels and mineral treatments for water consumed by the royal household and military campaigns operating far from the Nile. Copper ions in water kill bacteria through a mechanism similar to iodine's oxidative action. The Egyptians did not know the mechanism, they knew the outcome. Armies that drank from treated water sources survived campaigns that decimated armies drinking untreated river water. The knowledge was military intelligence of the highest order in a civilization where military campaigns determined the survival of the state. The Romans, the most advanced military logisticians of the ancient world, built their entire military water supply strategy around a combination of aqueduct engineering and mineral water treatment protocols that modern analysis has confirmed used copper, silver, and naturally iodine-bearing mineral compounds to reduce waterborne disease rates in legions operating far from Roman water infrastructure. The Roman legion's extraordinary operational range compared to every contemporary military force was not just a function of engineering and discipline. It was a function of water safety science that kept Roman soldiers alive in disease environments that destroyed opposing armies that did not possess the same knowledge. Then the industrial age arrived, the chemistry became understood, the patent system was established, and the $45 billion water purification industry realized that ancient knowledge, freely available to anyone, could not generate the recurring revenue stream that a proprietary filtration cartridge system could generate forever. The tablets got handed to soldiers and kept away from civilians. The industry built filtration systems instead. The marketing budgets were deployed, and the ancient knowledge got buried under a retail aisle of $400 countertop purifiers with 6-month subscription replacement filters. Stay right here with me because what comes next in this video is the most operationally important part, and I need you present for all of it. But first, everything you have seen so far is still only scratching the surface of what was locked away. I spent months pulling together every suppressed technique, every classified military method, every ancient solution, and every modern validation that the outdoor and survival industry buried in the interest of selling you equipment you never needed. Ancient natural water purification methods that cost almost nothing and work in any terrain on Earth. Emergency shelter construction that outperforms $800 commercial tents in every tested weather condition. Fire starting techniques that 3 governments have classified as too dangerous for public instruction manuals. Food preservation systems that function for months without refrigeration or power of any kind. Navigation methods that work when every electronic device you own has failed completely. Over 10 complete documented guides in one vault with 0 padding, 0 filler, and 0 upsell once you are inside. Everything is sourced. Everything is actionable starting today. The link is sitting in the description right below this video, but do not go there yet. Stay right here because this is where it gets serious. Now I need you to stay very focused for this section because the details matter, and the details are where the industry hid what it did not want you to find. Between 2001 and 2023, 17 states passed legislation that either directly restricts civilian retail sale of iodine purification tablets above specific quantity thresholds, requires pharmacy-only distribution channels that effectively remove them from sporting goods and outdoor retail, or classifies concentrated iodine compounds under precursor chemical regulations originally designed to restrict methamphetamine production ingredients. That last classification is the mechanism most commonly used because it allows the restriction to be publicly justified on drug enforcement grounds while its practical effect falls entirely on water purification products that have no chemical relationship to methamphetamine production whatsoever. Read the DEA's own published list of methamphetamine precursor chemicals. Iodine in its elemental form appears on a supplementary monitoring list. Tetraglycine hydroperiodide, the specific compound in military water purification tablets, does not appear on that list in any scheduling document. The compound is chemically distinct. The restriction is legally constructed on an implied association that the DEA's own chemistry does not actually support. But the legislation passed anyway, in 17 states, over 22 years, without a single mainstream consumer media outlet covering the specific provision as a standalone story. Ask yourself who lobbied for those provisions. Ask yourself which industry trade associations submitted written testimony supporting those bills. Ask yourself who benefits when the $2 tablet becomes legally difficult to purchase in large quantities in nearly a third of the country, while the $400 filtration system with its proprietary $45 replacement cartridge sits freely available at every outdoor retailer with no purchase quantity limit of any kind. The documents are public record, the lobbying disclosures are accessible, the testimony transcripts are archived. Everything I am describing is findable by anyone with an afternoon and a functioning internet connection. The industry counted on you never having that afternoon. Today, you just got it for free. Here's precisely what to do with this knowledge starting today, and I want every detail in your memory, because this is the practical knowledge that the $45 billion industry spent decades and millions keeping out of your hands. Go to any military surplus store, any serious outdoor supply retailer, or any online survival supply source and purchase potable aqua iodine purification tablets or their direct equivalent. They are sold in bottles of 50 tablets for $6 to $9. 50 tablets purify 50 liters of water. That is a complete emergency water supply for one person for approximately 25 days of full hydration at 2 liters per day. The cost per safe liter of water produced, roughly 12 to 18 cents. A premium home filtration system producing the same volume costs $4 to $8 per liter when you factor in the purchase price and replacement cartridge schedule over 5 years. The industry charges you 30 to 60 times more for the same functional outcome. Method 1 for standard field purification of any water source. Fill your container with the clearest available water. If the water is visibly turbid or heavily silted, allow it to settle for 5 minutes or pre-filter through a clean cloth to remove the largest suspended particles. Add 1 tablet per liter of water, secure the container, and invert it once to distribute the iodine throughout the water column. Wait 30 full minutes in normal conditions. In cold water below 40 degrees Fahrenheit, wait 60 minutes. In visibly turbid water that could not be pre-filtered, use 2 tablets and wait 60 minutes. Then drink without hesitation. What you are holding has been trusted with the lives of American soldiers in every major conflict for 80 consecutive years. Method 2 for removing the iodine taste that most people find unpleasant after purification. After the full purification, wait time has elapsed, add 1 vitamin C tablet or a small pinch of ascorbic acid powder to the treated water and stir or shake for 20 seconds. The ascorbic acid reacts with and neutralizes the free iodine remaining in solution after purification is complete. The taste disappears almost entirely. The water is still fully safe because the purification reaction is complete before the vitamin C is added. This is the technique the military adopted for long-term field use, and it transforms the palatability of iodine-treated water from barely tolerable to essentially indistinguishable from tap water. Method 3 for building a permanent household emergency water security system that costs under $30 total. Purchase 3 bottles of iodine purification tablets, 1 large clear 5-gallon water storage container with a tight sealing lid, 1 roll of unbleached coffee filters, and 1 bottle of ascorbic acid powder. Store the tablets at room temperature away from direct sunlight, where they maintain full potency for a minimum of 4 years sealed and 2 years opened. In any emergency situation where municipal water supply is compromised, contaminated, or unavailable, you have the capacity to produce 150 liters of completely safe drinking water from any water source within reach of your home. A creek, a rain barrel, a flooded basement, a swimming pool, any water source at all. A family of 4 in Houston used exactly this system during the 72-hour municipal water failure following a severe winter storm event. Their neighbors were standing in line at distribution centers for bottled water for 2 days. They were drinking safely from their rain collection barrel within 40 minutes of the water advisory being issued. Their total investment in this capability, $23. Their neighbors' bottled water expense over those 3 days averaged $67 per household, and the convenience gap between those two outcomes was created entirely by a $2 tablet and the knowledge that the industry spent 20 years making sure their neighbors never had. Compare that investment against what the water filtration industry wants you to spend. A premium countertop reverse osmosis system, $300 to $800 up front. Replacement membranes and filters, $150 to $300 annually. Installation, $100 to $200 one time. Electricity to operate the pump, ongoing monthly cost. Total 5-year ownership cost, $1,200 to $2,500 to produce water that is functionally identical in safety outcome to water treated with a 12-cent tablet. The gap is not chemistry. The gap is not safety. The gap is a marketing budget and a distribution system built on the assumption that you would never learn the alternative existed.